In this lesson, we are going to be talking about how to remember the derivative of all the trig functions, right? Other than sines and cosines, we have these other four that are tricky because they're not nearly as straightforward. Derivative of sine is cosine, derivative of cosine is negative sine. By the way, derivative of any co is going to have a negative, so derivative of cosecant has a negative, derivative of cotangent has a negative. But then there's a derivative of tangent and secant, and how are we going to remember these other pieces? Because it is not as straightforward as sines and cosines. What I use is pst. So if I spell out pst and I don't use the p, this is perfectly the derivative of secants and tangents. And here's what I have. That s represents secant, that f represents secant, that t represents tangent. So what I have is the derivative of tangent is secant squared. And the derivative of secant is secant tangent. Perfectly. Right? So if I just spell out the word pst, then I have it. And then if I could take that and then to do these ones, not as obvious, but if I kind of take secant and make it cosecant, and then make this one, and I got to put a negative on there to make sure that I always have a negative associated. Secant, I'll make it cosecant. And then tangent, I'll make cotangent. The derivative of cotangent is negative cosecant squared, and the derivative of cosecant is negative cotangent. Negative cosecant cotangent. So again, pst is the key. So that's going to help me figure out secant and tangent. So I'll spell out, pst, I'll stop my p, and then secant, and tangent. So if I'm just looking at this, I know that the derivative of tangent is going to be secant squared. Derivative of secant is going to be secant tangent, which lines up with that stuff perfect. So very quickly, this turns into, it's still a memorization thing, but there's ways to help me remember things. And I think that's hugely beneficial to when I start to do these types of problems. So in the next video, we're going to be using these. I'll be writing them off to the side, even though I have them here, just to kind of help show how I do it. And then we'll do the derivative of this, and the derivative of this. We'll actually do the second derivative of that one. But we'll do that on the next video.